A lot of people have got theories in their minds. Can I pick you and ask you, what's your name first?
Susan.
Susan, can you please tell us what you've got on your panel there as far as a suspect, a weapon and a room goes?
I've chosen Mrs. White. The weapon is the brick, and the room is the billiard room.
All right, so we're talking about Mrs. White in the billiard room with the brick as the weapon. Well, Susan, you've got 2 right. You've got 2 right there. We'll take one more deduction and then we'll reveal the answer to tonight's mystery after this break. So don't go away. Look, we're really getting very close to solving this mystery now. We've got time for just a few more questions of these suspects that are in front of us here. There was someone down here that wanted to ask a question. Yes.
Reverend Green, would you lose your livelihood if Aunt Evelyn had taken over the manor?
Well, yes, I would. And my black-banded potteroos would have suffered a serious financial loss. You see, Aunt Evelina hated me. Years ago when her father died, there was a clerical error, and I had him cremated instead of buried.
And that's as good a reason as any. Another question here.
What was the amount of money involved, and could you get it from any other source?
Well, no, you see, black-banded potteroos are regarded as a pest in many parts of the country, and dear Elizabeth was the only one who was backing me.
One more question up here.
My question's directed at Mrs. White.
Yes.
Mrs. White, what would you stand to lose if Aunt Evelyn took over the house?
I would stand to lose my job. I've never liked the woman.
But she liked you.
What made you think she liked me? You obviously weren't paying attention. The woman,
I thought...
the woman has loathed me for years, even before she had her accident. We've never gotten along.
So is that why you killed her?
How dare you? How dare you? A woman
What
of
a
my
rude question.
integrity.
Okay, I think we've got time for one more accusation now. Can I ask you, can you tell us what you've got on your dial?
I've got Mrs. White.
Oh.
And I've got brick.
With the brick.
The brick in her kitchen.
In her kitchen. So you're saying Mrs. White in the kitchen with the brick, and you've got one of those right. You've got one of those right. All right, we're now going to give you 5 seconds to make your final choices before we lock in your answers. 5 seconds, starting from now. You're now all locked in. Let's go back to Brindabella Homestead to see Detective Sergeant Stanley Bogong make the collar.
From the moment she set foot in the house, I could sense disaster. I could see that this beautiful old house and these wonderful people were going to be destroyed. I couldn't let that happen. I could see that I was the only one who could get rid of this menace without being suspect. I arranged for Arthur to have one of his turns so I'd be called away. After the phone call, I left, but I doubled back. Oh, I knew Evelina would insist on playing Santa Claus. I had to find out where she would change. I needed time to get back home. To be there when Mrs. Peacock phoned to inquire about Arthur, as I knew she was bound to do. So, I had to go ahead and distribute the presents, pretending to be Evelina. I knew it would take time for them to open their presents and compare notes. Time enough for me to get back home safely. Oh, I had terrible trouble with that chair. I was terrified someone would notice. But I succeeded and got back home in time. I'm not sorry I did what I did, Sergeant. Poor Evelina. Such a miserable, whinging creature. I was sure she'd be happier dead.
So there we have it. The answer to the mystery was Mrs. White with the letter opener in the billiard room. Now, I think quite a lot of people in the audience worked their way towards that answer tonight. But the person who was the first one to hit on the right answer was this gentleman sitting right down here. And this is what you've won.
Tonight's Cluedo winner will receive a holiday for two flying Continental to tropical Guam and Saipan, staying at the Pacific Island Club for a total of 6 fabulous nights. Every week, Cluedo prizes are proudly brought to you by Continental Holidays, the value holiday specialists.
Fantastic prize. And remember, if you're watching the show at home, you can play the Cluedo home game. Simply dial this number, 0055 15555. That's 0055 15555, and you'll get details about how you can win exactly the same prize. But now, please, welcome tonight's winner. And what's your name?
David.
David. Was there anything, David, that tipped you off to Mrs. White and the weapon in the room?
Well, not really. I just didn't like the look of her.
You just didn't like the look of her. Well, I'm sure she'll want to discuss that with you after the show. Thanks very much for playing. Thanks very much for watching. We'll be back next week with another Cluedo and another game and another mystery and prizes to be won. See you then.